Yeah, it is. It's very close. Every race we've been to this year, you've always had 4 or 5 riders in with a chance of winning. You tend to get a breakaway group. Sometimes at the races we've had a breakaway group of about 10 people. So you can ride as hard as you've ever rode and still only finish 10th, but still put in really good times. So it's very difficult, as always the class is.
So James Hayden back in 8th place here after qualifying on the 2nd row of the grid. On the front row of the grid, Paul Brown. Next to him, Nigel Bosworth. Then Ian McConaughey, Ian Newton, and Steve Sawford. And the charge is on. A good start from Bozzy. Oh, and near disaster at the back of the grid, and that was a real lucky let-off for Graham Mitchell, number 49. The bike wouldn't start, and he got almost torpedoed on the back of the grid. And the on-bike camera shows us what it's like to be riding on James Hayden's Team Great Britain Yamaha.
Good look at the man, bike number 8 is the man Hayden, with, like you say, a lot of pressure on him at the moment, but at the moment too, he's going up the inside. Is it going to be Bosworth? Is it going to be Bosworth? Yes, it is, just. Oh dear, they come no closer than that. Mara Brown just will not give way, Chris. He was determined he wasn't going to lose the lead.
And Paul Brown, what a star he is, what a fine fella. 2 great men out in front, Paul Brown and Nigel Bosworth. They know each other, they like each other, but they will not give each other more than the minimum amount of space. That was brave riding, and McConaughey's there. He's in the thick of things, right behind Paul Brown and Nigel Bosworth. So it's Brown 4, Bosworth 2, then McConaughey, then Hayden, and I think Steve Sawford drops to place. And I'm keeping my eyes open for Ron Haslam, who admitted to you, Keith, that this 250 racing's a bit rough.
Yeah, he said to me that he was shocked at just how hard he was having to go to get something like 14th on the grid as he was in his first qualifying session. So really, Haslam is struggling, and as you can see from our pictures, he is way down the field. There he is, following through. It looked to me like his teammate Nick Hopkins. So
I think 20th. I think that was Haslam in 20th place. Oh dear, come on, Ron. Yeah, we know you can do better than that. And it's Bosworth on the inside, he's through. Bozzy does it. Nigel Bosworth, the man from Stoke Golding, storms through to take the lead from his rival, Paul Brown. There's the overtaking again, Keith.
Well, let's take a look at that. He pulls out of the slipstream. That manoeuvre started a long way further back down the straight, but Bozzy, decisive, pulled out of the slipstream at the perfect time, slammed the brakes on and slid up the inside of Brownie, and this time Paul Brown didn't have a chance to shut him out.
And there's Sawford number 1, and he's through. Hayden has gone through. Sawford now is putting the pressure on McConaughey, and Hayden has gone through to 3rd place. So the youngster, the youngest man, I think, in probably the top 12 or so, James Hayden, just 19 years of age from Amersham, is booked. And there's the pace of the bikes down the back straight, and Hayden hasn't got the quickest bike because McConaughey goes by and Sawford has them both.
Well, I think there'll be a few things talked about in the Haslam camp after that. So the Team Great Britain bike showing that it's good in reverse, because Hayden, after all the work that he'd done, really was just driven past, and he's got to do it all again. So McConaughey and Sawford get the better of it.
So Steve Sawford, the reigning British champion, he's not had the best start of the year, and look at Adrian Butcher putting the pressure on McConaughey now, number 10. He's a hard charger, and he's on the inside, and McConaughey won't give way. Oh dear, that could have ended in tears, Keith.
And I think it might do soon. This 250 race, a cracker, the best one of the day so far. But Sawford won. It's still just about in front of Hayden. Hayden having to do it all back. McConaughey just behind him, 44. And then it's 10, that man Butcher. And I think he might make an impression very soon.
Absolutely. Either on the race or on somebody.
Look at this, and Butcher's through. Oh, dear me. Well, McConaughey really hadn't got a chance to do anything about it. McConaughey lost a coat of paint, I think, then.
Well, he had 3 choices. He could have just knocked him off, he could have moved over, or he could have gone into the turnip field.
So then Butcher up the inside of McConaughey with a hair's breadth to spare, a superbly timed situation. I was about to say something else then, but I couldn't. And McConaughey has to give best to a great manoeuvre from Butcher.
Back with the leader, Bosworth, Brown, Well, the Nigel Bosworth, his very first race meeting, Keith, would you believe, was in 1982. It was here at Snetterton, and he won it.
And he's been winning here ever since. Bosworth, a very stylish rider, but look at this still. The battle. Sawford is bike number 1, 8 is Hayden, and then it is Adrian Butcher. Well, he's getting faster by the lap.
He's the sort of Sweeney Todd of the road racing world, isn't he, Adrian Butcher? He really is. He's ruthless. There's James Hayden, what a talented lad. Came through the Super Teens, one of the real success stories, spotted by Ron Haslam, and Ron Haslam has groomed him in all the aspects of road racing. Number 2 is Bosworth, the leader. Number 4, Paul Brown. Then number 1, Steve Sawford. Then number 8, Hayden. And the arrival of the man who worked on the Euro tunnel. And he thought that was going to be a job for life, but I think it ended after a while. There he is, Butcher. Oh, and he's
and Butcher there grabbed a big handful of rear end, grabbed a great big handful of throttle there out of the bomb hole, and found himself launched off the bike. Well, that's not going anywhere, that's for sure, but miraculously, in one of the worst places to crash at Snetterton, Butcher is okay.
Let's
take a look at it. Hayden is bike 8, 10 is Butcher, tips it into the bomb hole, it dips down. Let's have a look and see what happens if Hayden doesn't cover it, but I would suspect. Well, there was a big black line there as Butcher tried to get the power on so early. A big black line from the rear end. It cried enough, let him go. Hayden was extremely lucky not to be taken out. Butcher rolls up the track and didn't come into contact with anything nasty.
So, we pick up the story with Greg Ramsey, number 48, having moved up into 6th place. Really is a good dice. Mark Barker, well, there's a success story, if you like, or a story to make racers of all age, even you or. And Callum Ramsey goes through. Nice ride by Callum Ramsey. Another success story from the Super Teams. Keith Callum Ramsey, younger brother of big brother Greg. And I was just talking about Mark Barker, because Mark Barker 3 years ago was almost unbeatable, then had a couple of seasons, 18 months when he was really out of form, and now he's back on the pace. And Brown going for the lead, and he's back in front. So Paul Brown looking for win number 2, if you can stay ahead of Nigel Bosworth, and that will not be easy. If you can stay in front, that will make 2 wins and a second for Paul Brown, and it'll let him stretch his lead. But Bozzy's got other ideas. Well, what a superb race this is. And well, I thought Bozzy was going to have to go grass track racing then, Keith.
Well, I think that Bosworth would do well to just take a couple of laps out. Oh, it's up on the footrest goes Brown, grabbing that handful of throttle to launch him up to the start and finish area, and he really was nearly launched up.
It was actually, I think, to Mars. Yellow flags being waved quite enthusiastically there. I don't know what the problem is. Maybe somebody thought that Paul Brown was going to fall off. Let's wait and see what the problem is. Brown leads from Bosworth.
Well, Bosworth, as I was about to say, would do well to take a couple of laps out and just watch Brownie if he can, because Bosworth is going to have to do the manoeuvre on the last lap. We've still got a little way to go yet.
And there was a faller at the chicane.
Here goes Bozzy, he's in the slipstream of Brown. Is he going to make that passing manoeuvre on the brakes? Yes, he is, but is Brown going to let him get away with it? He didn't a couple of manoeuvres ago, did he?
And we're getting through to crunch time.
Well, it's going to be at the chicane now. It's going to be at the Russell chicane. It's going to be the last option. There we are through the bomb hole into Coram turn. This fast right-hander. But Brown is too far off the pace to get Bosworth. Bosworth is going to win this, barring any kind of mistake that the man might make. And it looks like Bosworth is going to take it, Chris. Well, Brown outside for once.
Well, it's going to be a sprint to the line. We'll see whether the Motul Yamaha are quicker than the Castrol Honda. And Paul Brown looks over his shoulder. If he has to settle for second, he doesn't want to be pushed back to third. Bozzy wins. Well, superb, great ride. Paul Brown takes second place. And then it's Steve Sawford taking, and here comes that bunch. And it's one of the Ramseys ahead of Mark Barker. And who's going to be? Oh, that was close, and I think it was the other Ramsey. And, well, what a superb battle, and all credit to those two men. There they go, wheeling with joy. Bosworth first, and Paul Brown second. Steve Sawford taking third spot.
So Nigel Bosworth takes the 20 points for a win, although Paul Brown claimed the new lap record, 1 minute 13.3. and Brown still leads the championship from Bosworth. James Hayden fell on lap 11. He drops down to joint third with Steve Sawford, 12 points behind Nigel Bosworth.
I love racing with Mara. You know it's always going to be a good hard race, and it's safe as well with Mara. So it's, yeah, Dunlop tyres were brilliant. The Yamaha worked obviously good, so yeah, it all went well today.
Did you have to settle for second place in the end?
At the end, yeah, I lost an earplug, and like, it affects your hearing. You hear all sorts of noises and all that. Yeah, you buys it. And it just like I was thinking something wrong with the bike, but you know there wasn't. My bike was better than Boz. Boz was riding better today.
But you had a moment the last couple of laps.
Yeah, coming out of chicane, yeah. It was it's a bit ripply there, and as soon as you go over that with a bit of power down, it just sets you sideways, and I was out of the seat.
You thought you got in then?
It's a grass Mara, it's not the grip, is it? Yeah, when I saw Mara have one of those, I thought, you know, he's obviously trying his best, and so I just got my head down and sort of tried to make the most of his mistake, really.
Good stuff, good contest.
Thank you very much. Enjoyable.